These are the tales and ramblings of two men, their dream of running a successful food truck business and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
Powered by Riverside.
Morning, Skippy.
Hello? Oh. Well, we seem to be recording, but Josh had to take a phone call. Josh had an eventful Sunday. So, and it looks like my internet is not acting correctly, so please bear with us. Anybody have any good things happen to them this weekend? Went to a food truck rally where there was three other barbecue trucks. Mm-hmm. That wasn't good. But it is March. And Josh did open. So I can't wait to see how that went. Please hold, because I'm holding as well. Oh, good morning, Pam, if you're listening. Josh, I believe, had a issue with his fridge compressor. So we'll talk about what we did kind of this week, and then we'll let Josh just come in whenever he decides to work. Joking, Josh. So this weekend, or actually this week, was kind of our official grand opening for 2024. We've done a couple of events, but this was the first roadside event on Wednesday at our farm and home location in Brooklyn. Definitely a good location for us. People did come out. It was kind of a slower day, but I kind of expected that. It was probably mid 30s. Other than that, it was good. Oh, Joshua,
Good morning. How is everyone? What did I
ladies and
miss?
gentlemen, Joshua's back.
Okay.
Well, I was just getting into my week,
You know,
and then talk about your grand opening.
it's
That
we talked last week how I
wasn't
was
so
hoping
grand.
that I'd make it through 1 year without any major repairs needed. I made it no days. Yeah. The big three door.
Was this the one in your
full of food
garage,
because
or
it's
the
our
one in
first
your?
week open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They couldn't have crapped out
of course it is.
crapped out last week. That would have been handy. Did I miss something? I got a Bubba is on, says amateur hour. Maybe that's just me being late.
Nope.
So yeah, I was on the phone with a refrigerator repair company. Yeah. So I have through all of my troubleshooting yesterday morning a bad controller, so pretty much a bad thermostat in the refrigerator. So of all things, this should be the cheapest of condensers and compressors, and so the condenser I can actually unplug inside the refrigerator and plug it into an extension cord, and it'll run just fine and blow cold air in. The only problem is it doesn't turn off, so it'll get that refrigerator down to 10 degrees. But at least it'll stay good.
You might as well
yeah.
freeze everything.
So they said they didn't have anybody available until Wednesday unless I wanted to pay for overtime. So I'm paying for overtime because it's supposed to be 60s the next couple of days. So, and that refrigerator's it's in my garage. So
Yeah,
if it was going to be in the 40s,
yeah, it is.
I'd get the temp down on the fridge in the morning and then shut everything off and just let it hold temp for the day, which is what I did last night. I had it down to like 20 degrees last night, turned it off, and it was still at 30 this morning. So, yeah. Yep. So I might get another call from him. He's calling True to make sure they have the right parts in stock because apparently they send a whole bunch of retrofit stuff that's supposed to work on a lot of units, but he wants to make sure before he sends somebody out, which is nice. So I don't have to pay for 2 trips and extra labor. Yeah. So everybody, it pays to have an understanding
and extra overtime
of how your stuff works, so you can troubleshoot a little bit before you call service people because it can save you. So probably saved at least a half hour of labor by going through as much troubleshooting as I could. So I actually had an emergency ticket in yesterday because I was in full panic mode and talked to the tech over the phone, and we kind of just said, let's hold off and wait, because he also said that they weren't super busy, so I should be able to get in the same day, but apparently they are because everybody's booked unless I want to pay for overtime. Anywho, everybody loves the overtime. Are you done with your week?
Loves their overtime.
Or do you want to continue?
Yeah. No, I was just Bubba said amateur hour because I was I was just kind of sitting here because I didn't know what to do.
So it's true.
So
I
that's
am
why
the glue that holds this program
amateur
together.
Hour. Yeah. let's not go. We're going too far here, bud. So, yeah. So we started our roadside grand opening was Wednesday. I had people just stop by to see the trailer. They're like, "Oh, we'll come to the coffee shop on Friday." But yeah, I just want to see the trailer.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, thanks.
People that are excited for you and interested in what you're doing. That's always a good thing.
I gotta get some graphics on it though. Yeah. Thursday at Callahan's. So our buddy who we've had on the podcast, Big JT, also had on Thursday his grand opening with his food truck. He set up at a neighborhood park, and he calls me up and he says, "Hey, you know, I want to get your take on something." I said, "Well, what was that?" He's like, "Well, we just had our grand opening and we sold out." I'm like, "That's awesome. Why do you need my take on that?" He's like, "Well, is like $1,500 for lunch like good?" I'm like, "Yeah." So as he's saying he did $1,500 for lunch, I closed Thursday down with $189 in sales. I'm like, "Well, we're not doing Thursdays inside anymore." Uh, but JT, congratulations. He also did Friday, and went well too. Our Friday went well at Callahan, or our coffee shop location, and then that brought Saturday. Saturday was a ray of disappointment. Last year we did about $1,500 in sales. This year we did about half of that. I don't like food trucks that bully their way into events if they didn't get an invite, and there was a couple that did that, and I don't like organizers who, I guess, don't give us the accurate stats before we sign up and make us pay for this shit. So there was 11 food vendors there, and probably no more than 1,500 people. Now the burger guy, he did good. I mean, basically it got to the cheapest menu wins. Like the egg roll girl for $6 was doing good. The burger guy, if couples wanted to share a pizza, they could. But the 3 barbecue trucks that were there, one guy told me he did 1,500 to 1,600, and I called him a liar because there ain't no fucking way he did that much.
Did you? Sorry, did you? You said you paid to get in?
Anyway,
How much?
so that was disappointing.
I'd ask for my money
Yes.
back.
$155. Well, that was also a sponsorship to get my name on the back of the hoodie.
Yeah, I mean,
which I think was only $25.
that's insane.
Yeah, it was. While some vendors were good, and then there was some drama with parking, because if you're going to build a food trailer, can I please recommend you to put your window on your passenger side, please?
Curbside. Yeah.
Passenger side, please. That's common. For people that don't, it makes
Did they try to get
parking
you going
and
tongue to tongue?
pulling out and all that stuff pretty difficult. Well, yeah, my trailer,
Oh,
and the event was over at 5. I didn't leave until 6:30 because somebody was parked in front of me. And I'm trying to help her clean up. Like, let's go.
that reminds me of some
Like,
barbecue
luckily she has a
contests.
small trailer. We were moving it
What
as
can
she
I
was
do
going
to
to get her
help you
car.
get out of my way?
Ugh.
Because I'm ready to go.
So, yeah, so Sunday I took a nap.
Before we move on to
And we're
me,
back at it this
I
week.
want to. Bernie had a couple comments. One pretty early. He said he had a takeout night at his commissary kitchen restaurant on Friday. We do them every 2 weeks, all pre-order. Said it went really well, and then also said, "What was the picture you
Awesome.
posted where the 3 barbecue trucks were all parked in a row side by side? Why did you let them put all the barbecue trucks together?"
Oh, that wasn't the setup. That was just a picture of the trailer. That setup was in Dallas in November. But the 3 barbecue trucks were like basically a triangle. So the whole thing was a circle. So it was me at one point, and then them at another point, and then the other one's another point. But the one guy the one guy who told me he did really, really good is the guy who bullied his way in there. He's like, "I didn't get an invite." And then I show up the next morning. I'm like, "Oh, you're here. You must have either paid some money, extra money to be here, or what?" But That's
can't
not.
help it. All this
I
work
don't like
stuff
that.
is, man,
Anyway, stop yawning.
draining. I'm ready for November. Could use some time off.
For the birds, isn't it?
But yeah, we had our first day yesterday. Outside of the fridge incidences, a minor cut on my finger while I was washing a knife, and the printer that has been plugged in right behind me in our POS system all winter that worked fine did not work when we put it on the truck, so we went without tickets yesterday, which made things extra fun. I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm gonna guess something happened with the cable. When I was
Why didn't it
packing
work?
everything up,
No
I
idea.
may have pulled was something still connected, and it may have gotten caught, and it may have caused an issue. So, I'm yeah, I'll get there.
Might be time
As soon
to
as I have money
invest
to be
in
able
one
to
of
buy
the
one.
Star Bluetooth printers.
But yeah, for now it'll be a
Yeah,
new cable,
I'm
and
with
see
you.
if that gets us where we need to be. So hopefully it does. But yeah, it was cold. Yeah, it was windy. It was cold. We weren't really sure what to expect there. Yeah, the brewery. We knew going in that Sundays were their
was chilly.
slowest day of the week. But they're packed every day of the week, so it being a slower day is relative. So we weren't really sure. We kind of cooked middle of the road, knowing that we'd probably get some regulars that were just excited to have us back out, and we did. It was probably about half and half for our people that we saw. For some people said that was closer than Nuevo, and they're usually a Nuevo spot, so we'll probably see them there, which is nice to be able to get some regular customers, hopefully, out in that location. But yeah, we did at 1100 from 4 to 7. I don't think we saw a person after 7 o'clock.
That's good.
But yeah, they had their patio open and stuff, but it was, not great. Let's sit out at sunset and let's go have a beer. So I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool place. Their outdoor
Do you see
area
the
is
potential?
so big.
Do you see the potential?
And it's all well lit, and they do cornhole, and they have fire pits and stuff out there. It's all very well done. And they have food trucks every day they're open, so people are used to having food there. So yeah, I think it'll be good. We're doing 4 to 8 again next week. I think the weather's supposed to be about the same as it was this week, so a little bit warmer. But yeah, we have another drop. We warm up all week, and then we have a drop off for the weekend, which is unfortunate because we have a big festival on Saturday. Yeah, but as long as it's not raining
Flipping great.
or snowing like crazy,
What's
the
that?
weather. It'll be fine. People will be bundled up, and yeah, our Irish festival, the largest Irish festival in Michigan or something like that. At least that's how they promote it. I doubt it actually is.
Oh, cool.
No, and we're actually going super.
Are you doing
super
any
small
Irish
menu.
food?
Well, not super small, but only pork. So pork sandwiches and loaded macks. So no dorachos, no beans. Yeah. But we need 200. I'm figuring 240 pounds of cooked pork for the day. 32 pans of mac, or 32 half pans of mac. Yeah. We're projecting about $8,000 for the day. Yeah.
That'd be a good way to start off the day.
And we have all our busiest locations,
and the week.
historically busiest locations on the schedule this week. So yeah, we should get off to a hot start this week, hopefully. I'll be ready for.
Good. Yeah, weather over here is Thursday and Friday rain.
We've been showing 2 days
Saturday,
rain,
Sunday,
Thursday,
mid to high
Friday.
40s.
Now it's just 1, but it's like a 90% chance all day on Thursday now. like a total of like a half an inch though, so it's not like it's going to be a downpour all day. It'll be annoying rain. Yep. Yeah. So luckily
it'll be
we
that
have,
spit.
I mean, our
That's what I call
Midwest
it, just
Energy
spit.
lunch that day, and those guys will come out if it's a freaking hurricane, especially the first time of the year. And then we have a good dinner spot that I can't think off the top of my head where that is, but new QR code. So we've had a QR code right on our menu banner this year for the first time, and I think we had our most single day scans on it. 10 new Facebook follows while we were at the brewery. So yeah, I think that's working. Unfortunately, the menu isn't the same on our website. Apparently, I have not finished updating that part yet, but no online ordering through it, but they were at least able to take a picture real quick as they were walking into the brewery and then have an idea of what they wanted to order when they came out. So that worked pretty well. Banana pudding was the biggest hit out of the 3 new menu items we have. We had someone buy one and then grabbed 4 more to go after they ate the one. And this is a person that we expect to see later this week, so I'm so surprised that he got 4 more for the road.
Hopefully you'll be able to see him.
Yeah, so we went through about a third of what I made.
Banana pudding.
Might be making more banana pudding this week, which is good. Rib tips were good. We got good feedback on those. And I think out of the 13 chicken quarters we made, we sold 1. But and with the crowd that we had, with it being
they're very hit or
split
miss.
between half regulars, everybody that was a regular got what they always get. No one's veering from their regular order in the first week, which is why we don't do specials. The first week, because they usually don't move because everybody's getting loaded backs and Durachos and their favorite thing. So we'll see how they go. And luckily, I mean, chicken quarters are still cheap. I mean, they're less than $1 a piece. So I think total work for that day on chicken quarters, we lost
so it seemed
$8 or something like that. But we I think we judged food pretty well. We were not like super close to a sellout, but it was a manageable amount of food to have left over. So good week. It's going to be a great opening week once we get some shit fixed. So busy day today, getting stuff around. Full swing of things. So yeah. Oh, we had a new person start, Rick. He did okay. Amid all the chaos of all the opening day, stuff not in the right spot and printer not working. And so not only was he learning how to ring things up, but then had to be able to remember those orders to be able to tell me.
So I find it difficult. So my one helper has been helping me for the last 4 or 5 months.
That's the memory.
I call her 10-second Tom because she seems to have the 10-second Tom memory. Like, how do you not know? Like, if I ring up an order and I make it, I know who I'm giving it to. Like, there's no chance that somebody gets the wrong food unless I make it wrong. That's the only way. And we still pick on her. And I'm like, how do you not know? Like, how do you just not know? Like, how do you? And then her spelling. So Square, when you type in a name, it'll give you common spellings of what you're trying to type in. Well, she doesn't look at those. So she had the name Nigel. She threw in a J. Nigel. And I'm like, are you racist?
Well, with Rick, it was, and I know
He was a
he
white
was
guy,
trying
too.
to take in a lot of
Hilarious.
information.
But anyway,
but he'd
so-
bring it up, and I would hear part of it, but not all of it. So he'd fit it, like, immediately gets done taking payment, and I say, "What was the rest of that?" And he's like, "Hold on a second, you have to go look it up." Like, you just read it back 4 seconds ago. It was
Yeah, it was just there. Like you, and I do the same thing
Yeah.
to her. I'm like, Nicole,
I don't know.
what was it? What's the rest? Well, hold on a second. Wait for the ticket to print out. I'm
How am I
no,
supposed
what-
to know?
I've got half of it done already. So what's the other half?
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I don't remember. We were just talking about
Yeah,
our lack
jeez.
of quality employees. No, I'm just kidding. I love our employees. Pam,
Pam just commented
Pam,
on our
come
weekly
to the
post
dark side,
saying
Pam.
she has lots of opportunities to come visit us this week. So, yeah. Wasn't gonna say
Pam,
it,
sounds
but,
like you have lots of employment opportunities between the both of us too. So, a lot of opportunities, Pam.
6.
What are you selling chicken quarters for?
What?
Oh, okay.
What are you selling them for?
It was fucking cheap
God,
ass Josh again.
No wonder you're hit and miss with them.
8.
Only the fancy people can afford
Coming from a guy
I didn't
that
expect
sold
to sell many,
one
though.
at 6.
because that was the bag. That was what was in the bag.
Then why'd you cook 15 or however many?
That's why I
Oh,
cooked so many.
okay.
So, yeah, 6 is a fair price. Cost times 4. What's yours then?
That's technically cost times 6. But cost times
You're like Nike
102.
paying
Okay.
sweatshop to make your shoes and then selling them for $15,000 or 15,000% more than it took
Anyway,
to make it.
I am the sweatshop. What are you
Pam
talking
says
about?
you boys would be so surprised if I showed up ready to work. I would be. And I wouldn't let you on the truck. Enjoy your retirement.
Yes.
Think of it this way, Pam.
I would
with you
welcome
not
you with
actually
open
working,
arms.
I won't try to get you to take free food. I'll let you buy food now. It doesn't. I would never let her
I
pay
don't know how
I
that
wouldn't
helps
let her
her.
pay for food at the end of the day. Like if we had like a
Oh.
pan of mac and cheese
Pam,
left
you can
over,
have all the free food
she
you
would try
want.
to pay me for it.
Oh.
It'd be a nonstop fight. Just take it. Doesn't cover it.
Just tell her you'll take it out of her hourly. No, it doesn't. I used to work at the local hospital, and they allowed you to take your hospital food out of your paycheck, and I'm like, I gotta stop doing that. Lunches were expensive.
Oh, we had some comments and questions.
So what are we talking about today?
Some junk.
Yeah, there was some.
Where was it? Where was I?
There was some junk out there. That's
you
for
getting
sure.
Or no? All right, you look at that one. I'm
working on it. Please
I
hold.
think we have some topics that came to me too. Some other trucks were asking me some questions.
I've got 1,700 Facebook things that I do. All right, hold on. New listener, Slap Truck. Thanks for listening. Isaac referred Slap Truck. I saw that you were commenting with him. So, and I haven't listened to the most recent cast, blah, blah, blah. All right. So, being that it's the beginning of the season, we should actually probably talk about this to see if, because I think you and I are maybe different on this again. Maybe you've come around or I've come around. I can't remember.
Mhm.
It's been a while since we've talked about it. Minimums.
Only catering. Only if it's a private
Do
event.
you have a minimum to take your trailer somewhere? So organizer calls you for a block party and says, "Hey, we're going to have 700 people here,"
Okay.
knowing that they probably don't have more than 100. A, what do you cook for? And B, what do you so you don't want to do a minimum at all? Like, okay, for me to come, I
Nope.
have to have a minimum
I
of
do not.
$1,000 in sales to make it worth it.
Because my option is saying no.
Okay.
That's my choice. If I think it's a shady deal
Correct.
or something that's not going to be worthwhile, then I don't go. You know? I assume the risk on those. I have no problem. On a public event, I assume the risk. Now, if they say we're having a block party and you can't advertise anywhere else, then yeah, we'll talk about doing something, but it's not going to be $1,000. You know? But I've never had anybody that said, "Yep, we're going to have 700 people here." Yeah, usually people will give me like a house count, and then they'll be kind of upfront with what they've had in the past.
I mean,
I've never been super screwed, other than like a subdivision that was just a subdivision setup that the person then begged us to come out and then didn't do any advertising for us, and we had 3 orders for dinner, and she did it twice to us. But
yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence on minimums. There's some events that I'll do it if I think that it could be sketchy. I mean, I have to appreciate that they're reaching out to us to begin with, but for me to pull the truck somewhere, there has to be a minimum. Like, it has to be like if they're telling me that there's going to be enough people there,
I do the
you just
same.
do you
I do
just
the
trust
same
them?
math that I
You
do
just
for
hope for the
any
best?
other event.
I mean, if
Let's
you're
say
open,
they have, let's say they say 700 people. Okay. Yep, we usually have like 700 people for this event. You're the only truck. Okay. If it's a neighborhood event, you know for sure not everybody's eating. So I'm going to treat it just like a regular subdivision setup for the most part. I'm going to cook enough food for it to be worthwhile for us, but it's not going to be, I'm not going to have enough food for 700 people. You know, unless they have historical information, like every
but then
year
they
they
get
come do
angry that you
this,
sell out.
or every year they do this, and it's a huge thing. And we've had other food trucks out, and they've all been a huge success. And I'll reach out to other food trucks. We got a pretty good group. I'm going to say the upper tier of food trucks that are all pretty comfortable sharing information with each other. So, yeah, I have no problem saying no to a person because I don't think it's going to be worthwhile. How many times do you lose out on an event because they don't have it in their budget to guarantee you the money? Like I can't guarantee you $1,000. There's so many factors that go into a bad setup or even roadside. I mean, what if this block party and it rains like cats and dogs? You expect the homeowner to pony up $1,000?
No, but I assume you'd have some sort of contract that say, "Hey, acts of God, we're gonna figure out the weather before it happens, and so we don't. Neither one of us are in
still
that
out.
type of scenario." Like, here's the thing: is I can understand. I can understand barbecue. I can understand barbecue trucks having a minimum because they cook food ahead of time. But like burger trucks, pizza trucks, stuff like that, I can't see having a minimum because
I don't think there's any
if it
problem
doesn't
with
work out
being
for them,
very
they can go
upfront
somewhere
in
else.
how you approach these things, and setting the expectation for your host. Letting them know, okay, we understand that you have 700 people. Here's what we're thinking for the amount of people that we're planning on cooking for. I'm going to plan on having food enough for 100 people. Because in our experience, that's about what we can expect. And then they have that opportunity at that point to say, okay, we're going to look somewhere else. Or can we bump that up and I'll see what I can do about a minimum. So I think there's a lot of conversations that can happen with a host that's not just a straight, here's our fee for coming. I think the more information, some people it is. Some people it is.
Well, it's not a fee.
Some people it is.
I mean, it's not a fee.
There are some people that
Well,
charge
it's
you just to
not.
pull into their neighborhood, and then it's sales on top of that. I understand.
Correct.
I
Yes.
know.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's not
Same
a that's
kind of
not a
principle,
minimum. That's a setup fee or a sorry, semantic.
The setup fee is what's covering your cost to be there. Generally, it covers your food for the day and your travel or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything
Okay.
else then is clear. So it's the same kind of idea. But yeah, I think
Correct.
having genuine conversations with some people, a lot of that can be worked on, and set the expectation of what you're willing to cook for your risk. So, and we have a couple this year that is those same kind of things.
Okay.
Luckily, we haven't really been burned on much of them, on many of them. So, but yeah, any business, we didn't do it one time last year, and that kind of burned us. But yeah, for if they want us to serve for just their employees and we can't advertise anywhere else, like we're blocked off behind a fence. Absolutely. Yeah. But a block party is
that's
a lot
that's
of
a
the time the
private
same way.
event. I mean, that's
please don't advertise to anybody. We want to make sure you have enough food for our people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that.
True.
I mean, are they doing a Facebook event where there's? Yeah. I mean, how good is your person? Like, are they doing a Facebook event with some sort of survey on what kind of food you guys want? Are you likely to eat? The more information they can get you, the better. And yeah, if there's historical data, okay.
So what if it's put on by the HOA?
You're still charging the homeowners, but yeah,
you're not charging a homeowner. You're charging an entity.
$1,000 set up.
Well,
anything that's a public event, I assume the risk. I will stand by that and be told I'm wrong 1,000 times. I have every right to say no. I'm assuming the risk on a public event. So,
true.
And I think we get some gigs because of it.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, I think a lot of places, if they don't want to pay a minimum, they're going to go somewhere else to find somebody who doesn't charge one.
For 3 years.
I mean,
3 years, couldn't find a single one that didn't want a minimum to come out. Yep, 100%. Because they said we can come whenever we want.
I'll be there. So
during festivals and stuff, we can set up in their parking lot, which is right next to the only Meijer in Grand Haven. Shares a parking lot with them. It's should be a solid location.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to roll the dice 1 or 2 times to see how it is, and if it turns out to be a dud, then we don't go anymore, you know? But I I think people that won't go anywhere without a minimum or a setup fee have been burned more times than not.
So, okay. So the other argument is,
Like,
okay, so you go to an event that's got
what? So
live
are you
music,
talking like a brewery or
right?
something, or like
Will
a
there be some
festival? That's what kind of
we
business
could
I was
talk
talking
about a
about. Like a
brewery. You could talk
your
about the coffee shop that I go to. We can talk about whatever you want.
okay, all right.
Small business that has like a mom and pop little band kind of thing. Why is it okay for them to pay, or for the organizer to pay for live music but not pay for a food truck?
No, because
Isn't it the same thing?
the patrons of the establishment aren't paying the band when they show up. Yeah, the patrons are paying
No,
you
the owner is.
for your services, not they don't pay the bands for their services. So think of it if you're, yeah, I mean, if you look at it from the other side of the spectrum, you're the small business owner. Yeah, you have to pay to book bands. I mean, that's how they make their money, you know? When people come to ask you for your service, you provide them a service, food, in exchange for money. Business owners are providing you a conduit to get that money, to be able to provide your services. So you're not providing a service to the
Okay.
business owner. I think that's
True.
where people
True.
think, how people think about it. And in a way you are. Yep.
I just
And so
just
yeah,
hear
in my
that.
opinion,
I hear
you are
that a
not
lot.
providing the business owner a service. You are providing them, you're providing their customers with a service. They're providing you with a service, not the other way around. They're providing you with a place to park that has foot traffic and a customer base already. So I think it's all paying for services that
Okay.
are provided, and
Yeah.
you are
I mean, I
providing
get
the
it.
business owner
That makes
zero
sense.
services. Zero. You're not.
Well, if if our regulars are coming to their establishment,
It's a mutually
wouldn't
beneficial.
that count as a service for them? So, like, if my
Mhm.
regulars come to the coffee shop and actually
Yes,
and purchase coffee along with food, or
absolutely,
whatever,
absolutely, and
isn't
that is
that
your
isn't
payment
that
for
helping
setting
them
up
out
there.
just as much as it's helping me out?
They're providing you a spot, and you're providing them with also potential customers. Mutually beneficial setup. I think both sides have gotten so far away from being symbiotic relationships that everybody's trying to make money off of everybody else, and you're so far away from what the purpose is. You know, the business owner is trying to provide something else for their customers that will help their
Mm-hmm.
customers stay there longer, ideally, and maybe bring in some new clientele. You're getting out of it new clientele,
True.
an audience that's already there, and potential new clientele. It works for both parties, and I don't think anybody needs to exchange hands
Yeah.
either way.
Yep.
I hope that all makes sense. We had a comment in the chat
Okay.
on
Good.
Riverside FM
Yep.
from Justin. He says, we do private event booking. It's based on a guest count. They pay the fee. We prepare that amount of food menu with no prices. If it's a public setup, we don't charge a minimum. That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah,
Yeah.
for like so we do our absolutely. Yep.
See, there's a difference between public and public private. if you're a public-private would be like, if I'm going to a subdivision, it's